Raikkonen's third. And is that Glock? Is that Glock going slowly?
It is, it's Glock! Oh my goodness me! Hamilton's back in position again! 1,100,000 local hearts sink in the grandstand.
The 2nd of November 2008 saw one of the craziest endings to a motorsport championship ever witnessed. Two title protagonists separated by a single point after a desperate overtake in wet conditions on the last corner of the last lap of the very last race of the year. But what if I told you this is nothing compared to events back in the UK 60 years before? This is the story of the first ever BTCC championship, the maddest showdown in motorsports. The British Touring Car Championship is one of the most action-packed racing series on the planet. Over the last 60 years, it has showcased some of the most intense tin-top racing out there and has gained legions of fans the world over. But it is the very first season of what was then known as the British Saloon Car Championship that really stands out. In a bid to attract the largest possible grid, the series is split into 4 classes. Class D is the fastest, with big Jaguars being fielded, all the way down to Class A for Austin A35s. Points are awarded according to your finishing position in each class, and the champion is the person with the most points at the season's end. This means that drivers in the lower classes could, and sometimes did, end up taking the overall crown, until single class rules appeared in 1990. Coming into the final round of the championship, and there are 2 guys left to fight it out for the title. Tommy Sopwith leads in his Class D 3.4 litre Jaguar, with Jack Sears second in his Class C Austin A105. The final race of the season is held, just as it is today, at Brands Hatch, although this was before the Grand Prix loop was added, so we're just racing on the Indy circuit. Each driver drops their 2 worst results of the season, so Sopwith already has a perfect score of 48 points. Sears needs to win his class and score the fastest lap to have a hope of the title. It's race day, and in typical Brands Hatch fashion, it is pouring with rain. Sopwith cruises to yet another dominant victory in his Jaguar, but Sears does the job. He finishes second overall and wins his class, setting a fastest lap on the way. And with the scores added up and the drop races removed, Sears now sits on 48 points, exactly the same as Sopwith. Time for the rulebook to come out. Now, normally a championship tie is resolved by counting the number of race wins, but both of these two have the same number, 7. So next we go to second places, and, well, neither driver has recorded one that actually counts for anything. So now we have 2 drivers that have completely matched each other, race for race, result for result, fastest lap for fastest lap. We've run out of races, and we have a complete deadlock for the championship. What the hell do we do now? After a bit of discussion, one of the officials presents a bold idea to the drivers. They're going to decide the championship on a coin flip. A coin flip. The championship decided on a coin flip. The drivers, quite rightly, object. They have put incredible amounts of time, effort and money into this. They both run their cars themselves and don't have any major sponsors. And they're racing in the 50s, so these guys have risked life and limb week in, week out in pursuit of this championship, and some official wants the whole thing to be determined by pure chance. No way, mister. Find another way to sort this out. After another round of discussions, a far more sensible idea appears. Marcus Chambers would provide 2 identical Riley 1.5 rally cars, and the 2 drivers would go one-on-one in a winner-takes-all showdown. Neither driver has experience in the cars, so no one has an advantage. Both drivers agree to the race. The Rileys are sent out for a quick warm-up, and then a problem surfaces. It turns out that these identical cars, they're nowhere near as identical as been claimed. So now we're back to square one, before finally someone decides to run 2 races as an aggregate. 5 laps, swap cars, and whoever had the bigger lead at the end of their turn in the faster car wins the championship. Tommy Sopwith takes the faster car first, and after 5 laps, he leads by 2.2 seconds. So to win the championship, Jack Sears needs to be further ahead than that at the end of his 5 laps in the faster car. After 5 laps, Sears crosses the line, lights ablaze, wipers struggling to keep the rain at bay. Sopwith crosses the line, and the gap is 3.8 seconds. Jack Sears is the British Saloon Car Champion in one of the most ridiculous championship finales of all time, winning it by 1.6 seconds in a car he's never driven before, in a race that wasn't part of the championship on a soaking, cold October day. And just imagine something like this happening today, that Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel would end up having to do a shootout race in Abu Dhabi in a pair of Toyota Camrys that happened to be in the car park.